because of the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. I'm not going to call the pronouncement of the Supreme Court a judgment, because there is nothing that is the pronouncement of the Supreme Court said that had anything to do with the law in Nigeria. It's a total abuse of the law of Nigeria. Everybody knows, all of us know, that the Supreme Court is supposed to be final arbiter. The words of the Supreme Court are final. So the Supreme Court not assume that because their words are final, they will import into these powers that they do not have. Morally depraved decisions that are clearly against the Constitution and the people of Nigeria. We're not just talking about Rivers State. For instance, does the Supreme Court really have jurisdiction to adjudicate on issues concerning local government elections? It's very clear. Local government elections adjudication ends at Court of First Instance, which is the High Court. So where did the Supreme Court derive its power? In making pronouncement on elections, post-elections, litigation arising from the elections in Rivers State. Number two, how would the Supreme Court talk about something, adjudicate on a matter that was not before her? And the Supreme Court go on a frolic of its own to import matters that were not before her and start to make decisions on those matters. The issue of defection was not before the Supreme Court. The issue of defection is still at the High Court. So how did the Supreme Court get those matters into the Supreme Court to make pronouncement on it? Other than that, there were people behind the scene dictating to the Supreme Court what the Supreme Court ought to say. So they have said it. And I think the governor was in a haste to have accepted the judgment.
Asari Dokubo, that would be, if I may, that would be impugning on the integrity of the Supreme Court. So
yes, I am.
No,
the
you
Supreme
can't.
Court has no integrity in Nigeria.
No, Alhaji, we will not allow you impugn on the integrity of the Supreme Court. So
if the Supreme Court is wrong, if the Supreme Court is not called,
in your words,
the Supreme Court can just decide that you, as the person interviewing me, you should die, and immediately they go and kill you, they hang you, or you are sent to a firing squad because the Supreme Court said so.
That's why the Supreme
final, and nobody can talk when there is glaring corruption.
Alhaji,
in his pronouncement.
Alhaji, yes, I understand what you're saying. I understand what the grievances are. The analogy you gave is not particularly the same. What we're saying is that
the analogy I gave, the same judgment. Was there no same judgment about defection in the case of Plateau State? About 13 or 15 people defected to a different party.
What I'm saying in essence is that you can disagree with the judgment of the Supreme Court, but you have to accept it without impugning on the integrity of the Supreme Court. That's what I'm saying.
I will not accept it. I will not.
This is the Supreme Court we're talking about. So let's move on from. So in addition, now that the Supreme Court has made its decision, and that is the final decision as far as we have now, I want you to speak to the current logjam we have found ourselves. I know there are peripheral issues, undercurrents all over this issue at the end of the day. And you are a stakeholder, you are a traditional ruler now, and there's a lot on the table. Peace in Rivers State is where we're heading to. And you've made allegations as to who is pushing what and all of that. We know all of this. Now, what do you think needs to be done? Because right now there is grandstanding on both ends.
I think that the Supreme Court had given so much power to one side and had taken the sovereignty of the people of Rivers State away from the people of Rivers State, which was invested on the governor of Rivers State. Having said that, when Yaradua was sick, there was a need, because there was no constitutional provision as to what to do. There was the need for what they called, what did they call that? That they contrived something for the good of the people. The president should come out openly, because the first initiative he took did not work. It is not right for him. It is wrong for the president to come out to say that people should go and obey the judgment of the Supreme Court, the supremacy of the judiciary. When the law does not stand as the law, when the pronouncement of individual becomes the law, then it is dangerous. You are asking people to resort to self-help.
Right.
The president can save the situation by falling back to the doctrine of necessity, by calling both parties to a round table to resolve this lockdown. That's the only solution now. Because they have added more feathers to the feathers of the wings of Messiah Sawike and his followers to continue with their impunity, to continue. How can the Supreme Court give a judgment that have collective punishment of the people of Rivers State by seizing the allocation of Rivers State? By seizing the allocation of Rivers State. So as long as this crisis continues, the Rivers people will not enjoy the benefit of their resources, which is being given to the federal government.
All right.
And part of it is given to them. Will not resolve. Our workers will not be paid. Our doctors will not be paid. Our teachers will not be paid. Nobody will be paid. Who does that? Where can that be done?
In the same token, Alhaji, would you say that Governor Fubara is also wrong for accepting and promising to implement the Supreme Court judgment?
Yes, I said Governor Fubara is very hasty and wrong. This judgment cannot stand the test of time. It cannot.
So what are you calling for?
Cannot stand the test of time. It's like apartheid. There are laws. Apartheid made laws that white and blacks cannot pass the same road. They cannot pass the same door. They cannot sit in the same hall. Was it not law? Where was the Supreme Court of South Africa, whatever nomenclature it is called, not adjudicating on such laws? When a law is bad, when a law is wrong, when a pronouncement is wrong, it is incumbent on the people to say this is wrong. And I am one of those people who are saying this thing is wrong. These judgments are not judgment based on the Constitution, based on common sense, based on equity, and based on the interest of the people of Nigeria.
So let me follow up with this question, Alhaji. When the Supreme Court affirmed the election of President Bola Tinubu, you celebrated it and you said, well, everybody should end all litigation. So that's the same Supreme Court given a judgment. So what has changed? Is it because it's not favoring you?
If the Asari today says something that is good today, and tomorrow it says something 360-degree bad, we should accept it, because yesterday Dr. Asari said what is good, and today it's saying something 360-degree very, very terrible. We should accept it because he said something good before. The Supreme Court gave judgment on the election. I was on the field in that election, and I saw the election, and I know that Bola Tinubu won that election. Even though today I might disagree with his policies, I might disagree, he won that election. And I cannot change from that. Supreme Court has been delivering judgment since it came into inception in Nigeria. Are we going to say that all the judgment given by the Supreme Court since it came into inception is bad, just because this particular one is not even a judgment, it's a pronouncement that does not have any basis on the law, on the Constitution, on common sense, on equity, or the interest of the people?
Asari Dokubo, this one is for you. It don't pass the time when person be talk on social media without action. Not do. Wike don't go Supreme Court, it don't win. Not do. Impeachment is on the way. This allegation now, that is the process now, so it is start. So I cannot, in fact, I don't want to see Fubara leave that office. It will be a disappointment for me personally. Yes, and no, it will not be right, and it will not be nice. I know he's not the first one, and it is not right. I did not see any offense that he has committed that warrant impeachment. I do not see any reason for him to be impeached. No. So we're watching if this man will truly succeed over Ijaw people, the River State as a whole, with all these mad men they will. No. If you are talking about 2 years time, election in 2027, you say you do everything possible to make sure he did not come back. That one will still be a battle. I say you want to impeach him. No. Anyways, we are watching because the serious problem going on in River State now. It's a serious problem. So we want to see. I played this one shouldn't lead to impeachment, and the impeachment shouldn't stand, because any matter impeachment, yet there is a way court can say the same court who did this abracadabra already. Is it the same court when this man is being impeached? Is it the same court that they will take this matter to, that will now overlook this issue again to say, okay, there is a problem here and correct the problem they've created already, the problem they created? People said the 2023 election, 2022, yeah, when this Supreme Court did all the abacadabra, they did everything. People see now, see what they are doing today. Now, gradually, it will continue. It happens in another state, which is wrong. That is to say, we don't have a judiciary we don't have it. It's dead. It's dead. It's being controlled by individual, by few set of people in this country. The institution, the highest of it all, Supreme Court. If you cannot trust the Supreme Court, which court are you going to trust again? There's no other court. Whatever the Supreme Court says, it stands, whether it's been fraudulent or not. But look at what just played out now. What happened in Rivers State? Just imagine one person. I don't know Tinubu's gain because Rivers State. I tell you, this problem wouldn't have been this serious if it was another state. Yes. Anyways, my whole player make this one not be war. You know anything in war problem? A lot of businesses is at stake here. A lot of businesses and civil servants, some workers, they'll just be working, no salary will be paid. The government will not even afford to pay salary with all this problem going on now. To be a problem. And these people, the target will not even we know the Nigeria system now. Whichever way what is happening in Rivers State today, the target, you never get the target. They will never be affected. But anyway, I pray it shouldn't be, and they're just able to make peace. So please share this video.